Yeah.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fun with RELUX.
Our last episode in this year's, and so looking forward to the coming holidays. We have a little prepared our background so that we can have a little bit Christmas feeling in our today's episode. And
yeah, and here in Basel it looks similar to this background screen. Bit of foggy, but we have also snow here in Switzerland. It's December. Yeah.
It's December.
Yeah. Okay. Today's episode is about floor planning, or about floors at all. What you can do with floor settings in RELUX Desktop.
It's not so nice, not so a new feature. It is a nice feature, but not so a new feature. We have it since years, but we also think that it would be interesting for some new users, or also for some common users they have so that they might have some reminds of what is possible, how we can handle this, and also to tell a little bit what is our strategy behind this and what we are what is possible with this solution.
Yeah.
Yes, in the past when we started with RELUX, so it was only possible to have one room in one project. And then later we start to have multiple rooms in a project, and then we started with the possibility also to create floors and organize the rooms in floors. And yes, and today we want to show how to handle this and what is possible.
Yeah, it's more in practice, hands-on episode again. So we want to show you how it's done, how you can use these features, and what it's about. The theory is quite flat. You have in a building, you have in structure in floors. So you have building, floors, and then rooms. And this is also reflected in RELUX and also in BIM applications, for example. And we've also in the end of today, we will also show you how to work with floors with Revit to connect Revit and also RELUX Desktop in the kinds of floor views. Okay, so we can start
to presentate some things. I will start share the screen, and I want to start with an empty project. In the normal way, when you want to make floor planning, you will start with by working on a CAD drawing or on a background image or something like that. But in the beginning, I want just to show you the basics and the fundamental elements to handle floor planning. We have no floor planning here directly in the beginning. If you want to do this without a drawing, without a background DVG, you start with a normal room. I will just use our default rectangular room. And from this position now, we have the possibility to go to the menu, to the ribbon Insert, go to the Insert where we have the scenes, and there we will also find the possibility to add a floor to our project. Then we will find here a special remark. You don't need to read this now. It is just to give the user to show him the difference between the scene view, between the floor view and the scene view, where we have the overview for our floors and just the rooms in it, and the room view, which is just one single room. And the great difference between this, only in this view I can insert, for example, cubes or luminaires or whatever. This is not possible in this point. I can now not click on the cube, but I have the possibility now here to add an additional room. I will use here an L-shaped room, which is now dropped into into my floor. And because I'm dropping them, I have also to make an offset. I can show you here now the 3D view, how this looks, and I can now shift the rooms inside on my floor view. As we told before, this is not a typical way to work. The main we will see a little later when we are working with a background drawing. But this is just to show you the functionality and what's behind the floor planning. We have also the possibility here to, for example, to duplicate a complete floor, which is now totally identical, but we have now also the possibility to drop a room from one floor to another. And if I go here, it is now here on the same position. I have now two from this L rooms inside of my floor, and so on. You have also the possibility to combine such a situation, for example, with an exterior area. And you have also the possibility, then this makes more sense, to move the exterior area outside of the room, and then we have a structure of a building which is built by the two floors and one exterior scene, for example, for something which is outside of our building.
Yeah. And how can I get into the room in the scene view?
When we want to go to the scene view, we have once the possibility just to make a double click on in the here in the floor view, make a double click on the scene, then it will open in the floor scene. Or the other possibility is, for example, to make a right click here and say open, and sorry, here and here, and say open, and then we will have the scene view for this room where we can work with, as we typically do this in a RELUX project.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, but as Klaus said, this is not typical that you create a floor just by knowing the dimensions of rectangles or L-shaped room. The more practical way, or the current situation on most of our lighting designers, is that you start with a floor plan, with a CAD plan, or with a PDF, or with a background image. And if you have a floor plan, then it really makes sense to populate the rooms according to this floor plan. This means we start with a CAD plane. This can happen in two ways. First of all, we need to say, okay, this is not just a room, this is a floor now. So we have the choice of floor and scene. So obviously this is floor now. You can also set a certain room height for the complete floor. And here you have two options. One option is to go directly with a DXF or DWG file from Autodesk, AutoCAD, or you can also use a PDF file. If you use a PDF file, then you come to a short assistant where you need to find out in which way it should be converted to an CAD DXF file, and then you have also a CAD file out of your PDF file. But this is not about PDF now, so we just choose one of these CAD drawings, and here we have a small view on it, and then you can choose about the scale on it. So is it scaled about meter? Here we know it's in meter scale, so 1:1 from the unit of AutoCAD to us with 1:1. The next step is the rotation. So you can have a different rotation of the coordinate systems of RELUX and of the CAD application. Normally this is just 0. In the last step, you have the option to choose an origin of the CAD plane, or of the CAD plane in the RELUX coordinate system. So here it's by default the lower left corner of the CAD drawing. So. And after this, so this is the normal procedure to import an CAD drawing. And with the CAD drawing, it's now possible you need to recreate, to draw the rooms. Here we have Klaus was switching off the grid snap. Grid snap is not really convenient if you have a CAD application. The CAD snap makes really sense. So CAD snap is on, and the grid snap is off, and you can snap easily the room corners, and you have to click one room corner by another, and then you have the room completely allocated, defined for RELUX, because just the CAD drawing is not enough to let RELUX know where is a room. We need to pick the room corners one by one. This is typical. If you are finished with all the room corners, you hit the return or enter button, or make a double click on the last one.
Make the last one as a double click, or which I more recommend is to use the enter or the return button on your keyboard.
Yeah.
And after that, we will have here now
the
room inside of our scene.
Yeah.
Then we can continue. There is also a very interesting possibility about creating rooms. We have the possibility here for insert, and then the construction tool from CAD drawing. This works in the case I select here also interior. Here also must make a difference between interior and exterior. I select here now interior, and if in my drawing there is this one. If there is a
closed polyline.
Closed polyline, we guess it's a little bit hard to see this now. This is a closed polyline. It will be now highlighted in yellow. And if I click it, it is selected. And then I press return, and I will have with just 3 clicks, I have a complete room attached to my floor planning, to my drawing. If I work in this way, we have also the I switch now to the
floor view.
The floor view, to the floor overview. We will see that we have the drawing is attached now to the floor as in complete, but it is also attached to the single room, so that I can work later for placing furniture and so on. We can work on this point.
Yeah.
The next interesting point is we will show you later the complete project, which is more or less designed with more or less all rooms.
You can decide to go one room by another room. You not need, it depends on your design, what you want to do. It's not needed to take all the rooms. It's also possible just to pick out the rooms you want to calculate. Here, for example, this is a school building. In school, it makes sense to have the same classroom, which you have again and again in the drawing, that you just take one of these classrooms and calculate this, and then you just extrapolate your results to the next room, and that you not do any room. It's possible to do any room, all the rooms, but normally the most of the designers just choose 10 to 20% of the rooms, depending on the duplicating of the rooms and the profiles, and then just to pick out a few of them. Yeah.
Okay. What we now want to show is we have now starting with one floor planning, and now is the question: how can we implement a second floor into the project? And for this, we go also to this insert, to the scenes. As I shown this before in my first small project, I choose a second floor. This is now empty at the moment, and after selecting this, I can attach a CAD drawing here to this floor, and I will now choose here the second floor from this building, and I repeat all the steps as I do this, as I have done this from the beginning, and then we repeat. No, this was the second floor. This one. Here we will now see this is the second floor, and then I can repeat the same procedure as I have done this before.
Yeah, and so the first step is to create a new floor, and the second step is to allocate a CAD drawing or PDF or background image to the second floor, and all the rooms you create on the second floor have the same CAD drawing in the scene view, in the detailed view, room view. Yeah. And here we have luck that we have again an drawing where we have the polylines around the rooms. This is really nice and make it really fast and easy to get the rooms into RELUX. But these closed polylines are not so often. It's I really would recommend that you check the drawing in AutoCAD or another CAD application if there is maybe a hidden polyline. Then in some cases the polyline is there just on a hidden or frozen layer somewhere. The closed polyline is also needed in AutoCAD if you want to calculate the size of the room. If you have a room stamp with a room size, then it might be possible that somewhere in the background there is a hidden polyline of the room. Maybe not. And then you have you can also do it by hand in AutoCAD. But
sometimes, if you are very common with AutoCAD and you like to work in AutoCAD and you prefer to work in AutoCAD, it is a good possibility to make a separate layer and send all these closed polylines to a inside of the drawing, and then you will have it is very easy to have such a room. But okay, this is just to show you the principle how you start this. You will then, if you want to have to complete all the rooms, continue with this work, and we want to show you now how it looks when we have this one.
No. The other one, this one in the middle.
This one. Okay, this is now this project we are working on, and we can yes, here we can take a look to the complete. Yes, okay, the complete here, the 3D floor view, and we will see all the rooms. And you will now see in this project some of the rooms are already planned and also calculated, and you will see if a room is calculated, you will see here the 3D luminance distribution inside of the room. You will see here, sorry, some rooms which are not calculated. Also, this is very interesting for sometimes when you are talking with people which are not so common in light planning, and what does this mean? They will start to wondering, oh, why the floor is not so bright, it is too dark. But we have here a kind of God's view, because this is not realistic, because you are, as a person, you are inside of the office or of the classroom, or you are inside of the floor. And we have in our standards typically for a floor recommended 100 lux, and inside of the classroom it's 300 or maybe 400 lux. And so for that we have a difference in the brightness, which is from the size are very high, 1 to 3, for example. But in reality, our eyes will adapt to the brightness. So if you are in this situation, you will not think that it is that in the floor it is too dark or something like that.
Yep.
Okay.
And this is the overview. It's just possible to have one floor in an overview. And of course, you can also go down to the single rooms and check the single rooms. So, and also you can go from floor to floor. In this example, we have 3 floors. And if you use this floor grouping of rooms, then you get a benefit by having an project description output. And there we have this 3D floor and also this floor overview. And the floor overview is this is nice, a nice thing to have an overview of the floor. You can see here in colors which rooms are calculated, which rooms are the green ones are calculated and match the values from the profile, from the 12464 profile. If you have set this 12464 or on the IES standard, whatever you have as a standard or your own standards, if you met the standards, then it will be green. If you don't met the standards, but you have something calculated, then it will be red. This means, as a designer, you can say, or you can see now, okay, in this areas I need to go into again and to change something. You have also an part list over the complete floor. So it's also a nice thing to have an overview in the values of the complete floor. And here we have room by room in a nice overview, really tight, that we have multiple rooms on one page where you have the most important values, photometrical values, and a bit of a number of luminar value, room by room. And you can also see in this small room tab, there is green for hit the standards, or in red, standards are not reached, and also with the numbers on the side. So this is a nice overview of the floor, and you have this printout option for all the floors. So in this case, we have 3 of this overviews, floor by floor, to have a nice overview for you and also for the client or the receiver of this design.
So the sketch is also really helpful to identify which room is behind this number and this name, where is it located on my floor, and so this is really helpful. I know for some persons it would also be helpful to display the emergency values, and we will we will add this functionality in one of our next versions. So that is also a possibility to have such an overview also for emergency lighting. We are not sure if we make it if we integrate it in this, or maybe we make a separate overview, emergency overview, and then we will display here the emergency values instead of the 12464.
For emergency, it would be the 1838.
Okay, so this is the basic functionality of floor planning in RELUX Desktop. But the most powerful solution we will find if we have the possibility that we can work together with BIM, with BIM solutions, where anyone else has built a complete building for us in a different software, in Revit. And therefore we have the possibility, we have here our this is Autodesk Revit at the moment. This was a building, it's also a school. It's one of the standard samples which are delivered with Revit. And we have here our plugin in the possibility to use our plugin in Autodesk, and we have here some functionality which are actually missing in desktop. We will add them also in the next time. For example, the room manager. We have here the possibility, very simple, for example, to set a filter. To set a filter, for example, here in let's say. So as a part of the name, so all the instruction fields are, you will see here at the moment, this is not assigned at the moment, it's the usage profile. And I can now very simply go here and set to all, this is an educational building, and I can say this is a classroom, for example. Then we have here the possibility to apply the settings for classrooms, for example. We have also included here the new version of the standard, so we can follow these new rules and ways.
Context modifiers.
Yes.
In the new 12464.
And then we will have added with a few clicks this profile to various rooms inside of this project. And then I close the room manager now. We have then the possibility from here to run an export from Revit into RELUX. We have also here the possibility to, I will just say I want to level the floor 1 and floor 2. I can also export floor 3. We have here various possibility to export, how we export. But this is not
columns.
This is not things. And then we press simply to export and create an RELUX desktop file for the further planning. This will need some time. In this example, I guess so approximately about
2 minutes.
2 minutes or something like that. The process dialog is now in the background, but we want to show you the result directly. That what we get when we export such a project from Revit into RELUX. We will get this as organized in floors. You have the possibility when you click to one of these instruction rooms, for example, you will also see here that is already the classroom which I have set in Revit will also be set it here, so that you can directly start with your work as light planner, light designer inside of RELUX.
Okay, so this is a nice feature that you really can allocate all the usage profiles in Revit and get it directly into RELUX Desktop. And also, if you have luminars in Revit, also this luminars will come into RELUX Desktop and also back from desktop into Revit. If you have something changed in luminars, it will be transported back in Revit. This is the work, and also it's a nice example here. We have also the furnitures allocated. The columns are with it. So this is nice. You need not to create the rooms or to pick the rooms. Everything is here, and also the room structure is there. You can really go from room to room. You do not need to tell desktop where is the room. These rooms are already in Revit created as a room instance. And also nice thing I have to say here is that we have the staircases, the stairways. This is also something which is hard to recreate. Here we have the staircases and can directly go into calculations. Now the 2 minutes are done, and now it's open up in the background the created export of Revit. And yeah, so this is also a nice combination of let's say a building floor section view, floor hierarchy from Revit to desktop in both directions, back and forth, to have really a grouping of rooms into the floors. Yeah, this is the most easiest way to get to these floors, by having a BIM project. If you have an IFC, put the IFC into Revit, then it will be interpreted by Revit, and then you can put it into the desktop. Yeah, I guess that's all.
That's what we want to show you today in this session of Fun with RELUX, and we will now take a look if there are any questions and try to
answer the questions.
Short moment, please. There are some. It's still coming. If there is one thing I don't like.
Okay. Can I make the question field a bit? Okay. How are glass partitions handled?
Yes, this is a little bit a problem. We have windows and so on will be handled correctly, but we have actually in RELUX inside with our standard calculation kernel the problem that we have not a possibility to calculate transparency inside of room. We must use this transparency for making these calculations. We must use our alternative calculation kernel, the ray tracing. And
yeah, we have, maybe one step back, we have two calculation cores in RELUX Desktop. One is the radiosity. The standard calculation core is radiosity, and in radiosity you don't have the option to have glass. You have not a transparency in it. But we have in calculation core, the second one is it's the red tracer, and red tracer can handle quite well transparency and glass and different kind of diffuseness. We had fun with RELUX. The last one, it's about material, and there we have some examples how you can work with glass. If the question is in the direction in the floor view, if you want to have light from one room to another room, this is not possible. It's not possible to go from different rooms by glass with light. The rooms are isolated. They are their own instance of lights. If you want to have lights from one room to another room, you need to create a scene and create the rooms with walls inside one scene. So one scene is mostly one room, but you can also interpret one scene with different kinds of rooms. A little bit of complicated, but it's possible also to simulate these effects. And in the last episode, you can also see that you can have different kinds of glass with different effects on the room if you go through this glass with your luminars.
Okay, next question is user experience of snapping while creating room is very chunky and sometimes not very responsive. The problem here is a little bit the handling of the drawings. We must recommend here to make your drawings as light as possible. Sometimes we receive a lot of projects where the DVG files are overloaded with information, and RELUX at least is a light calculation program, and it's not comparable with a high-end CID program. And for that reason, it is very helpful to have to switch off layers which are not important, especially if you have layers with
not grids.
It's a special style in AutoCAD where you make filled surfaces and so on. Try to reduce this to the important information like lines and polylines, which are identifies the walls and so. And then you should have a good user experience.
We have also different snapping options in RELUX Desktop. We have also seen it makes sense if you have a CAD application to switch off the grid snapping, because the grid snapping is just really hard on the grid in RELUX. And if you switch it off, then you have not this grid annoying in the middle. So you have just the CAD, and also in CAD you can also select a couple of options in RELUX Desktop what kind you want to snap. Points in the middle, end points of vectors, midpoints and circles, whatever. You have also some similar options as you have in AutoCAD by their snapping functions. It's wise to play around with the snapping options in RELUX a bit. Maybe you find a good way to snap correctly.
Okay, next question is, how is a staircase between floors handled? This is a very good question, and it's also one of the problematic things, because we must handle a staircase as one room which is higher than the normal room on the floor. And so for that reason, we recommend you must create these rooms not manually. You can define the ground from the drawing, but I will define it in the lowest floor,
in the ground floor,
and then give them a bigger height and handle this as one room which is lying on the ground floor.
Yeah, we would recommend to handle a staircase as a really large room with the complete building height, and to have it as one room and not to make sections of the staircase in the single floors. Of course, you need to calculate and to have a light look up according to the complete staircase and not in sections of it, and just use one floor for the complete staircase and skip the staircase in the rest of the floors. Then you have good results in luminaire counting and also in the lighting results.
Then here, good morning. This is Christine from the Netherlands. Hello, Christine. How can I insert a second floor if I received a DVG file where all the for examples 5 floors are in one file? Thank you. You have the possibility in the same way as I showed this before, just by the point where you click the position of the DVG drawing. There you should change a base point which is relating to one point. But with the same what we told before, if we have one DVG and you have 5, in reality 5 floor plans inside, if this makes sometimes problems or makes the system slow, because then we have to very redundant information inside of RELUX, and that can make it slow. So if you have the possibility to copy each part, only the relevant part of each floor in a separate drawing, in a separate DVG, so that you have one DVG for floor 1, one DVG for floor 2, and so on, then it will be more performant in the handling inside of RELUX, and also it will have you will have less trouble with such DVGs. Yeah. But in principle, it is possible. So if there is not so many lines inside of the, if there is not so many information in the DVG, then it will also work when you have 5 floors and you will have to import the same DVG 5 times.
Yeah, you import the same 5 times. But for example, this building we have seen as in our example was also in one CAD drawing. And I splitted this manually, of course, to have better performance in it, because there were also a lot of details, and this was better to switch the single floors on and off.
Then the next point, the staircase from the Revit stop at the roof level from the floor. Yes, this is right. This is actually a little bit a problem, or a point we have to optimize also the plugin for Revit a little bit, that you will receive one room for a complete staircase. But this is also, I guess, inside of Revit sometimes a little bit a problem, because but this are too many details.
You have also in Revit, you have also some kind of room box, and you have to set this room box also for the staircase in Revit to the staircase and not to the single floor. So this is depending on how Revit is defines in room, or how you as a Revit operator defines the room for the staircase.
Can you please explain how RELUX CAD works? Can we use CAD to model and import it into RELUX? Yes, RELUX CAD, I guess you mean RELUX CAD for AutoCAD, which is a little bit different, similar to the plugin we shown for Revit, but it gives you the possibility to make some work in AutoCAD. Mm-hmm. I guess we have a video on our homepage about this product. So please take a look to relux.com. And if you have more questions, please send us a personal email to our support.
Yeah. But it is possible that you having 3D models from AutoCAD used in RELUX. This is absolutely possible.
Then the next, when using more than 2 DVG files, when adding a third, it seems to replace one of that.
You have to check the names. We had this issue if you have the same namings, then we have some strange effects in RELUX in the past. I guess we have done some fix to have the possibility to take the same names into it. So for example, we have five floors and you import the same floor again and again. We had in the past, I guess, an issue, but this was fixed. Yeah, hard to tell what you have for as an effect. The best way is that you can maybe send our support team the files, and then we can have a look in detail. So in general, it should be possible to take as much as you want. In some projects, you have dozens of DWG files. You can also take a DWG file per room. If you have furnitures room by room, it's also possible to put them together and to allocate DWG files to single rooms or to the floor, so there are a lot of options. Should be possible.
Can you switch off the CAD layers while importing the DWG file, or only after? Actually, only after, but you are right. It may be very helpful you can do this in a pre-step before it will be displayed.
Will it be faster by importing?
Yes, maybe a little. Yes, I guess I guess we will have also a speed if we can switch off. It is a little bit, if we have DWG files which has really a large number of layers, it is sometimes hard to handle them really in a good way. But it may be helpful if we have this in the pre-step. It will be possible to optimize here in this position. Can I stack the floors to create a whole building to calculate exteriors, flue, and plan view illumination? If I understand this correctly, that you wanted a 3D view of all floors. This is actually not possible because we wouldn't lose the possibility to have a view inside of the floor. And this is a little bit sometimes hard if we have a complete building. In a software like Revit, you have such possibilities like a 3D cut view where you can define where it is, but this is hard to programmate and not so cheap to programmate.
Yeah, so it's about the visibility and about the access. So if you would do it right now to stack multiple floors to one view, you would see just a lot of boxes in a large box. We have not really options to make a section on the boxes or to extend the boxes to have a look into it. These options you have in Revit, for example, or in other BIM tools to have an overview in 3D by extending or by cutting elements, or to make all the walls not visible, for example, some extended visible settings. And this would be quite boring at the moment in RELUX, just boxes. And we have also not a facade. The rooms itself are ending by their inner surfaces. There's not a definition of the facade outside of the rooms, of these room sceneries. You can create, of course, an exterior scene with a facade element of a building, but this is not related to any single floor or rooms right now. So this is a separate thing. Of course, you can create an exterior scene with internal rooms and give them measuring surface and so on. You can build it up in a way, but the normal way is that you really allocate it to single scenes, and this is a separate instance in a way. So times is running up a bit. So we have to select one of the last out of the last remaining questions. We have to select one most interesting one.
Will RELUX Revit also directly put the furnitures in the room when I use a PDF file as an underlayer? No, this is not possible. You can, if you have a Revit project where you have 3D models of furnitures, it will be exported also in RELUX. You can click this, and if I want with furnitures, you have also seen this in our example with the with this cafeteria, with the chairs and the things, but it is not possible if it is just a 2D PDF. Yes, if you have a background drawing where the furniture is a 2D drawing, you will see it in the ground floor where the tables are, the things.
There's also two different imports. You can, of course, import an PDF file and have the PDF file as a background in a CAD conversion of the PDF file in the background, and you can also combine it with an Revit import or with a Revit project. But then it's two different instances which match in a way, but we have not a 3D PDF feature at the moment. So there are 3D PDFs, it's possible. It's not so common, I have to say, but we have not the option to take 3D objects from PDF files in RELUX, just the 2D CAD-like instance. But all the furnitures from Revit come as they are into RELUX Desktop.
Okay, I would say the last one. Is it possible to export the DVG back to the drawing? XREF remains the block. Yes, I recommend you to export only the RELUX part, not into the existing drawing. Make a separate export from your work in RELUX, and then you can use this exported file as XREF in your original DVG. And this has the advantage all the time when you make an update from the RELUX side, you will also have this this updated in your in the DVG which refers to the XREF.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's all for today.
That's all for today. We are
and also all for the year.
All for the year.
Yeah.
We have just to wish you very nice holidays.
Also have some statements. The RELUX office will be closed during the Christmas period here in Switzerland. So we have the office is closed from the 26th of December to the 13th of December. We are back in office by the 2nd of January. This is a Monday. In this 1 week, we are not in duty, not in the office. This means also the support. So if you have some report questions, of course, you are free to send us support emails, but the phone service is not available. We maybe remind you to relux.com/support. You find there a larger knowledge database. Maybe you find there help in this time. If you are in need of, there's a lot of information stored in this database. And also we continue Fun with RELUX in the next year, of course. The next episode will be on the 19th of January, also on Thursday again, in the same time slots. And the next episode is about the viewing options in RELUX Desktop. So all the small windows and views and stuff. There is a lot behind it, and there's a lot of more information which we want to give you, how to organize, how to work with it. I was guessing, okay, this is enough for an episode, but Klaus convinced me that it's enough of stuff to show for a complete episode. And this will be interesting in January. And the new episodes are not on our website, on relux.com/fun. On relux.com/fun, you will find in a couple of hours also this episode, beside all the other past episodes. And in the next week, we expect that it's also possible to see the next episodes for the next year, at least for the first couple ones. And also the registration for this next episodes will also just be possible by next week at some point. So be patient, wait for the options to get you registered. Yeah, and then really wish you a happy new year, happy Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas. Otherwise, have a nice time, a nice winter time,
Yes.
if you are on the north part of the globe. And yeah, see you next year.
Yes.
Stay healthy. See you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.